Hey there, it's Raj from the Injury Insight. So today's topic I'll be covering the ankle injury suffered by Arsenal forward Danny Welbeck during Arsenal's game against Sporting Lisbon in their eventual 0-0 draw. I'll be going over the actual injury, the surgeries, the recovery, and the risks. So here's the best video I could find of it. It's not a clear shot. You can see he kind of jumps in for a header and something's wrong afterwards. We also knew something was wrong based on the teammate's reaction. Like right here you have Ganduzi taking a look at the injury. You can see he's somewhat distraught about it. And there's a reason for that. So now I have a picture of the moment of injury, or called the MOI, the mechanism of injury here. You can see what happens is Welbeck, that right foot gets caught underneath him. And based on this mechanism, I have a pretty good idea of the type of fracture and injury that Welbeck has suffered, and we'll go more into that in a little bit. But the key thing is here is that his foot is caught, the toes are planted, and then also that lower leg is externally rotating. That puts a huge stress that specifically stresses a certain part of the ankle. You can see the reverse angle here with that foot getting caught underneath as well, all his weight coming over it. And then there's another indicator here of what the injury is, about kind of where he's feeling the pain. It's above the ankle joint, which indicates to me that it's a high ankle injury. Specifically, I believe it's a grade 3 syndesmotic tear. And to understand more about what that is, let's go into some of the anatomy. So here's the lower leg, in this case the right lower leg, and you have the foot, and above it I'll label what you have is the tibia or the shin bone, and you have the fibula, then you have the talus. The syndesmosis is defined as being a membrane or ligaments that sit between two bones. In this case, it's the ligaments that sit between the tibia, the shin bone, and the fibula, and they help stabilize the ankle up there. So right now I'm going to showing you the full 360 view of that lower area so you can help visualize it. And so in that area between the tibia and fibula you have multiple ligaments, and this is a lot of words here. I just want you to understand about how rich this area is and how much stabilization it needs. So when you have a grade 3 injury, you tend to rupture all these ligaments. And additionally, you have some ligaments that are actually at your ankle called your deltoid, 4 specific ligaments that are grouped as a deltoid ligament that also get injured. So with the grade 3 injury, these are oftentimes also ruptured as well. So, it's a pretty legit injury. Right now you're going to see the mechanism of injury with what happens during that dorsiflexion, external rotation. So the foot comes up and then goes outwards, and that puts a lot of stress on that area between those bones, leading to that ligament injury. And just to reinforce, here's what happened to Welbeck again. His toe is planted, and then there's that external rotation. So these account for about 5% of injuries in footballers, and they're a pretty serious injury. There's a lot of force going through that area. So like I said before, I believe this is a grade 3 injury, and grade 3 injuries immediately do require surgery. In this video, the stage 1, there's some damage to the ligaments. Stage 2, a little more damage, and then a stage 3, it's complete rupture of those ligaments. And oftentimes they don't show it here, but that bone on the outside can also be fractured, and if it's a spiral fracture up top, it's known as a Mason-Neuve fracture. So now that we kind of know more about what his injury potentially is, he goes into surgery. The first step in surgery is to reduce the space between the tibia and the fibula. So what they'll do is take a clamp and they'll reduce it, and then they'll reassess to see if that area has come closer together. So that was surgery number 1 for Welbeck. He's had 2 surgeries so far. Now, in less severe cases, they'll use what is called a suture button technique. They'll take 2 buttons and they'll run a suture, a non-dissolvable suture, to help fixate that area so that everything can heal once they repair the ligaments. In more severe cases, what they'll do is, this is the older technique, is they'll take good old-fashioned screws and run them through the tibia and fibula to help fixate that area and allow everything to heal. So now that once you get out of surgery, so in Welbeck's case, once he's out of surgery, the rehab process starts. So in general, it takes about 4 to 6 months for the injury. You go through rehab, you constantly assess the response to activity. One key thing during rehab to note, I always talk about, is having a positive mentality. And we've seen that with Welbeck. He's had a very good mentality. He has a lot of support from his teammates as well. For example, Rob Holding came out and was talking very positively about Welbeck and his recovery. Generally, these injuries do have pretty good outcomes, especially when it comes to ankle function. However, there are also naturally long-term risks. There's a higher risk for degeneration changes in that area, a higher risk for osteoarthritis. In general, there's some pain, stiffness, and swelling long-term, 20 to 40%. Specifically, there's pain, stiffness, and swelling ongoing for a while. And then there's the inherent risk of playing football at a professional level, where you're always at risk for an injury. So overall, it's not the best injury. No injury really is. And it's going to be a long, arduous recovery. But he can definitely get back from it. He can come back, and they'll have to measure out how slowly he gets back in his incremental recovery, but he can certainly do it. Alright, so here are my references. If you want to really see these, I have them linked on my site for your viewing pleasure. So that about does it for this episode. And you can always follow me at 3CB Performance. Check out more pieces on my site, The Injury Insight, or follow me on YouTube. And then for clinical information or to get in contact with me, check out my clinical site, 3cbperformance.com. Until next time.